Texas Southern Tigers. I know about them. That's maroon and red or whatever they are. Red and gray or whatever. All right. Well, I had a tough time Texas Southern out of Jackson State, man. So I really go way back with you guys. But we was talking. Rob, you still with us?
Yes, indeed.
About Rob J. Did he jump the boat to try to see the Knicks play Rob? Roger, I think he's a basketball fan. He loves Kansas City Chiefs, bro. Don't get into that. But you was talking about before we came back on the air, Rob. Let's go over this a little bit on some of the things that you're talking about. A little computer training for the kids, especially with the basketball down at the YMCA on June the 3rd through the 7th. But talk a little bit about the computer camp, a little different than I'm just typing stuff at a computer.
Right. Like I said earlier, I briefly stated, they will be focusing on the filming portion. It won't be just typing on the computer. We'll do graphic design and animation. My degree is in multimedia, so I have a lot of experience on graphic design, 3D animation, video editing, radio editing, and things of that nature. So we're just going to involve all of that in it and give them the opportunity to play around with the microphone and radio and TV editing and things of that nature on the multimedia standpoint of it.
Man, I need to come work for you. You got all that equipment?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, that sounds like better equipment than we have at the TV station, man. But that's good. That's good, because when I go out to some of these high schools and some of the junior high schools, and I had a camera and a microphone, and I let the kids grab the mic, the first thing they say, we're here live so they like doing that.
Right,
they really like doing it.
Right.
And that's something unique that you don't find at basketball camps or any camp, that you give them hands-on to the electronic media. And that's really, really good. How many days will the camp last, Ron?
It's a whole week.
Oh, okay.
Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Wow. That means they will learn a lot at this camp.
Yes.
Yeah, start June 3rd to June 7th.
At the YMCA.
YMCA downtown.
Oh, I got to come down there and check it out. See what's going on.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah, I know.
Now, who do you have teaching some of your media classes?
I have a few guys that I'm going to use as a surprise. Some of them. I have a few surprise guests coming in.
Oh, I see. You're going to sneak up on somebody. I think, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like my name is in there somewhere. That's what it sounds like, man.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to get you down there.
Trying to reel you in,
Oh, man.
We aimed at you first.
Well, I got you, Rob. Whatever you need, man. I got you.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, I just checked on the Knicks a moment ago. The Knicks with a 2-point lead over the Indiana Pacers. It's like 13-11 right now. So, Rod, you've been a basketball man. What's your thoughts on these playoffs?
So far, I mean, we have pretty good matchups and pretty good games. I think Chicago is going to give Miami a pretty good competition, but you never know how it's going to go, and a lot of times with these injuries, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm doing the camp the way I'm doing it, so they can learn other things. But with these injuries, you never know who's going to play what game and things of that nature. So sometimes it gets kind of lopsided on certain ends with a lot of the injuries. But right now, I just like to watch real good games. Like I stayed up all night last night watching the double overtime game.
I was up last night watching that myself, man. What about Steph Curry, man? You seen the guy can shoot like this? I can shoot the basketball?
He can shoot that thing.
I'm telling you, man. You sound like this guy, Rob. I'm telling you, man.
Well, you seen Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
I ain't know anything about you like this guy, man. I saw him last night. He lost control. I'm trying to explain to you, man. You sleep last night, I know. When he lost control of the basketball last night, he picked it up and just shot the ball, parking right in his face, man. I mean, hit the three. I mean, the guy's already had 44 points last night. The guy played the whole game. I think they played him too much, really. I think he should have got a breather. What do you think, Ron? You think?
Well, if he can make it and he can hold his win out there, I guess he can keep shooting it the way he's shooting the coach. But like I agree with you to a certain extent. They do need to kind of sit him down from time to time and let him get himself together and just stay in the flow of the game. But he did a wonderful job last night, even though they lost.
Well, the reason I say that because on that run when San Antonio made that run coming back, he was still in the ball game. I thought at that point they was up like 14 to 16 points. I thought he had a chance to sit him down for a while. they finally got caught back up anyway. San Antonio did, but at least he could have got some rest in the process.
I agree.
So they was running in.
I agree.
They was running because they was desperate. Duncan went to the dressing room. They didn't know whether he was going to come back or not, and they started running, man. So I thought at that point in the game, they were sitting down a little bit. But let's talk a little bit about when you played Texas Southern. You played guard too, right?
Yes, point guard.
I thought you was point guard, yeah. So what about those guys? Did you think that now what they said that they had this other kid was taking to bring the ball up a little bit, taking him out of the game, where he didn't have to handle the ball. I don't think is that much rest when you don't have to bring it up?
Not really. I mean, it depends on how much you're fighting to get open and other things you're doing on defense. That's the only way you can just determine about how much a guy is actually getting rest. But the way of the floor of the game was going, things of that nature, I don't really think that helped a whole lot, honestly.
Well, I'll tell you what, I saw some shots last night. I was surprised, man. San Antonio, they got some three-point shooters. They got real hot there for a while, man. But, being up that much in the fourth quarter, you wouldn't think they would be able to come back. But I could tell that, the momentum was changing. That means San Antonio got desperate. It was 4 minutes to play in the game, and they knew they was desperate to come back to try to win that ball game.
They made some big shots, though. I have a saying that I say when someone says something to me and I agree with them, I say, Ginobili? And last night...
I'm going to ask you about that, man. Let me ask you about that one thing on San Antonio. When they took that last time out, it looked to me like that's the one guy that I would be watching.
Right.
And they lost him, man. They doubled up one guy and they lost him. And, you can't leave that guy open.
Wide open. I mean, he had
I got to let somebody else beat me, not him. Because the reason I say that because he won so many games for San Antonio because he's a guy who won a lot of games for them down the stretch. And I had two guys watching him, man. I'm serious. I was kind of surprised they left him open like they did. What about the Bulls? They went down to Miami and beat them. They shorthanded. Rose is still out. He don't look like he's going to play at all this year in the playoffs. The Bulls, they play tough defense.
Yes, the Bulls are a very tough team, and they have a lot of heart. Nate Robinson reminds me of guards that I like because I was always the smallest person on the team and just had to, kind of fight hard and play as hard as I could regardless of the fact of my size or weight or anything of that nature. So I really kind of pulled for the little guy last night. I love Miami, but, I mean, like I say, I love to see very good games. So as long as I'm entertained, I'm satisfied.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed all of them, to tell you the truth, man. But like Memphis, they lost their game to Oklahoma City. I thought they should have won that ball game, and that went down to the wire. And been some great games this year, man. I kind of watched them all, man. I was up late last night watching it because that kind of kept me at the TV last night, watching last night. But I tell you, this Nate Robinson guy, man, he's a real a great basketball player. I think he's gonna get paid after this year, man. They're not paying him that much, I know, right now in Chicago, but he has really done a good job for him.
I agree with that.
How do you feel as a guard going and you say you're small and you're going to it's those big guys, man? You got those big guys. How do you feel going into a layup with those big guys? I mean, is there any fear when you go into a layup? I often wonder about that.
Well, I love the challenge. I was never the type that was afraid of someone that was taller or bigger than me, and a lot of times I go ahead and jump right into them and kind of use my body as my shield. So I would kind of jump like right under their chest or right into them and then bounce off of them, and that way they're going backwards, and I'm kind of still under control of what I'm trying to do. But that was just one of my tricks and trades, and plus I was always super fast. So.
Okay, right. What about some of the guys that play with you at high school at Jim Hill when you was coming through and? How do you go to Texas Southern, man? I didn't believe you here at Jackson State. I'm worried about that.
Well, I played with some great players. I played with Roy Dixon, Rod Aged, Trey Sanders, and amongst a lot of other great guys, and I was coached under the late Fred Harris.
Oh,
and,
I knew Fred, yeah.
Right. And so, I mean, we always had a pretty good team. We were very competitive. We was always shorter than the other guys, which I always mess with Coach Brennan and all them about snatching all the big guys and Coach Billers.
Right. They sure did, man.
They snatched all the big guys, but we had a lot of speed, and we stayed competitive pretty much through every year. But the thing about Texas Southern, which was coached by Robin Moreland, and he's a Mississippi native.
Right. I know that.
So with him and Kevin Adams from Provine, he was assistant coach. And when I went down, they welcomed me with open arms, and we had a lot of other guys from Mississippi, like Iffy, Ion, Patrick Dice, Lindsey Adams, Russell Evans, Randy Bolden. I played with all of these guys, And our first year my freshman year, we did pretty good, and we won the SWAC regular season. I have to make sure I say that.
Okay.
And I played a lot of times as a freshman. So, I mean, we had a good time out there in Houston, and, I just want to bring some of that knowledge that I've gained throughout the years back and embed it into this camp.
But, Rod, I want to tell you something, man. It's way before you start playing anything. They had a guy from Jackson, Mississippi called Shotgun Kelly with Texas Southern. He could play. He could shoot it, man.
I've heard many stories about Shotgun Kelly.
Yeah, he was a player. And that was during my time at Jackson State, man. He could play. He could shoot the basketball, and he was great. And I often wondered, and I knew when Coach Mullen was there, why guys went to Texas Southern because he's from here. Right. And he recruited a lot of guys to come out there. But during that time, man, I remember they beat Jackson State once here in Jackson, man. This guy was the real deal, and I know it's a great experience. I want to ask you another thing. I get kind of excited about when you talking to guys like you about leaving Jackson and coming back and playing against Jackson State. How was that when you came back to play with Jackson State?
Oh, I enjoyed it. I think my first time I hit 18, and we can go look up the records if we need to. But I enjoyed it. I had my family there, and, I mean, we had a great time, especially with a lot of us being from Mississippi. We really enjoyed playing Jackson.
I don't think much has changed. I think it's still the same, really. You listen to Talking Sports Live. I'm Willie Richardson along with Rod J. And we're lucky to have really Rod Beechem here with us. And he's talking about a camp he's going to have this summer down June 3rd, June 7th, down to downtown Y. It's going to be a great camp, student-athlete, basketball, computer camp. It's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of good entertainment. Guys going to learn a lot. And I think the kids are going to really want you to continue this once you get it started. I can see the activity and the excitement that you guys are going to have at this camp. And you're a great guy to have a camp like this here in Jackson. We'll be right back after this message.